President Biden seems to be living in another time. He's living in another time when Republican politicians were honorable. He's living in a time when one could trust the word of a Republican, and that in as much as they were conservative, they believed at least in humanity. Yes, they believe in this false notion of pulling yourself up by your bootstrap, even though that's not what that statement really ever meant. But they actually believe that somehow things weren't as skewed as they really are. History let us know. Anybody informed in real history understand the systemic nature of poverty, the systemic nature of all these things in our country. Even Biden acknowledges that, but he's such an institutionalist. He thinks that if he adds to the court, it will delegitimize the court. Well, the court is already an illegitimate institution that was stolen from those presidents who had the authority and the right to assign justices. It's already a stolen body. But listen to the president in the interview that he did yesterday with Nicole Wallace. I think it's prescient. We better change his mind, or we better change the president.
Roe and Casey are decided with justices appointed by Democrats and Republicans. Yes. And these opinions that land outside the range of public opinion in our country are super conservative majority decisions. They're 6-3 on Dobbs. They're 6-3 on affirmative action. Does it require, does your love and reverence for our institutions make you do a hard thing and look at shaking up the institutions? Will you look at court reform again?
Well, I did look at here's two things. Before I got elected, while I put together a group of constitutional scholars to try to expand the court, which I think is a mistake. After all, the judgment was that doesn't make sense because it can become so politicized in the future. But so what I've done is in my appointments, I've appointed 136 judges and found ourselves in a situation where I've picked people who are from various backgrounds. We've appointed more women to the appellate courts, black women to the appellate courts than every other president in American history. Not just Ketanji Brown, but more than any across the board. We've also I wanted to make sure that we had on the court, and Republicans have been appointed to the court by us as well. On the court, want to have public defenders, people who've been on the other side of the equation, so that everyone is represented. There's a point of view to be able to be made, but I have no hard test to say you must have this view. I never ask a nominee what's their position on A, B, C, or D.
No litmus test.
No litmus test.
Do you worry that without court reform, this conservative majority is too young and too conservative, that they might do too much harm?
Well, I think they may do too much harm. But I think if we start the process of trying to expand the court, we're going to politicize it maybe forever in a way that is not healthy.
That you can't get back.
That you can't get back. And I think maybe it's just the optimist in me. I think that some of the court are beginning to realize their legitimacy is being questioned in ways that hadn't been questioned in the past. And I think there's a concern on maybe even the Chief Justice, that maybe we better.
Well, in the independent legislature's decision, it looks like maybe Roberts had that in mind.
I don't know that.
I don't either.
I hate to say this, but President Biden is absolutely wrong. He's absolutely wrong. The statement that he makes where he thinks it will be political, or it would be seen that the court is political, that water has already left the dam. The court is political. It has always been political, but more so than ever before. People used to try to have some semblance of neutrality. That is completely gone right now. And the only way to fight this issue is to fight this issue. The court must be fixed. And the only way to fix the court is for the president to do it rather, it's for the Senate to go ahead and start the process of creating 4 more seats on that Supreme Court. It must be done because we have a generation of disaster coming. Like I said several years ago, Republican politicians know that their policies are not wanted by most of the American people, and the only way for these policies to be effected is for there to be a Supreme Court that is doing exactly what it is doing right now, supporting PPP and all these other things for big government, for the corporations, and trying to get all the poor people, the people that have very little, to do it right. Folks, it is time to make a change. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.